Welcome back. We are doing question 1.2, which is about simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations. Okay, so we have equation 1 and we have equation 2. Right, now we're going to use substitution because we are solving a linear equation with a quadratic equation. So when you're creating third equation, we have to use the linear equation, but avoid creating fractions. What do I mean by that? Let me just write the linear equation this side. 2y is equal to 3 plus x. What do I mean when I say avoid fractions? If we isolate x, you see that we can bring the 3 this side, becomes 2y minus 3 is equal to x. You see that? We have isolated x, we didn't create any fractions here. But let's say you decided to isolate y. What are you going to get? You're going to get y is equal to 3 over 2 plus x over 2. See that we have created fractions here. So avoid this if you can. But if it's impossible, then you have to use the fractions. So I'm going to do two alternatives here. The first one, we're going to isolate x, and then the second one, we're going to isolate y, and then we're going to deal with fractions. There's nothing we can do. But in the examination, if you can avoid creating fractions, pick that option. Okay, right. Now, so we've just done that. Here we can see that just move this to this side. And then you can see x remains on its own. So it becomes x is equal to 2y minus 3. That's equation 3. Okay, and then substitute 3 into your quadratic equation, which is 2. Substitute 3 into 2 into 3 into equation 3 into equation 2. So where there's x, we're going to put 2y minus 3. Okay, so it's going to be 2 and then 2y minus 3, and then y. See, we've replaced x there, plus 7 is equal to 2y minus 3 squared plus 4y squared. You see that? Okay, what do we do next? Right, if you check here, this y is this side. Remember, multiplication is commutative. A times b is just the same as b times a, or a times b times c is just the same as c times b times a. B times c times a is commutative. So we can bring this y this side and say this is 2y. There's no need to do it, but I'm just doing it because I'm explaining here. Right, and then minus 3. If you can simplify or expand without bringing the y this side. But don't forget, sometimes if you don't bring it this side, people forget. They just expand using 2 only. Okay, so just bring it first so that you don't make mistakes. And then plus 7 is equal to, right, we've been talking about squaring a binomial. So I'm going to explain it here without doing it by the side. You should be knowing it by now. If you didn't get it in the previous one, if you didn't check the previous question, it is there. We talked about how to square a binomial. Right, so we say 2y squared, isn't it? That's the first part, 2y squared, which is 4y squared. And then we take the sign, which is negative here, and then we say 2 times 2y times 3. You multiply these two factors with 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2y times 3. 2 times 2y is 4y. 4y times 3 is, it's going to be 12. So it's negative 12y here. And then the last one is always positive. So it's going to be 3 squared here, which is 9. Then plus 4y squared. Okay. Let's remove this one. We haven't expanded this one. So here's 4y squared. Then 2 times 2y. 2y times 2y. 2y times negative 3. Negative 6y. You see that? Then plus 7 is equal to 4y squared minus 12y plus 9 plus 4y squared. And what do we remain with? Okay, I'll maintain the 4y squared this side. So it's going to be 0 is equal to 4y squared. And then we've dealt with this. Let's go to the y's. Y, negative 12y plus 6y, because when 6 comes to the right hand side, it's going to be positive. So negative 12y plus 6y, that is negative 6y. Done with the y's, and then the constants. 9 minus 7, because 7 will come to the right hand side, become negative 7. 9 minus 7 is going to be 2, so it's plus 2. See that? Okay, right. And then we can divide everything by 2. 0 is equal to 2y squared minus 3y plus 1. And then what do we do? We say 2y squared times 1. We get 2y squared. And then we look for the factors of 2y squared that will give us negative 3y. That is negative 2y minus y. Negative 2y and negative y, isn't it? Okay, this is the longer way of factorizing. Negative 2y minus y. This is all, these two, negative 2y minus y, that is negative 3y. But if you can use the quadratic formula here, it's fine. If factorization is giving you problems, use the quadratic formula and get your answers. Then plus 1. And then let's factor out. What do we factor out? We're factorizing by grouping here, in pairs, grouping in pairs. So the first pair there, we can factor out 2y, then y minus 1. And then we factor out negative 1 here, becomes y minus 1. If you check here, we have two terms that have a common factor, which is y minus 1. We can factor it out. Let me just do it here. We can say 0 is equal to, let's factor out y minus 1, and then we're going to have 2y minus 1 is the other bracket. Okay, right, so therefore y is equal to 1, or y is equal to 1 over 2. See that? Right, we haven't finished. Remember, we're solving for the two variables. Right, if y is equal to 1, then we can use our third equation here. So it means x is equal to 2 times 1 minus 3, meaning that x is equal to 2 minus 3, negative 1. Right, and then if y is equal to half, becomes x is equal to 2 times half. 2 times half is 1, isn't it? And then minus 3, and then x is equal to 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Do you know that these are what actually the points of intersection? So the other point is, first point is, we say negative 1 and 1, and then the other point is negative 2 and half. These are the points of intersection of the two graphs, the quadratic function and the linear function. Okay, right, let's go to the second part where maybe you decided to create this one as your third equation, but you're going to be dealing with fractions there. Okay, let's just go there. Let's say now you decided to isolate y. So you're going to have y is equal to 3 over 2 plus x over 2 as your equation 3. You see that? And then we can substitute equation 3 into equation 2. So where there's y, we put this. So it's going to be 2x. We put this one, 3 over 2 plus x over 2. Right? Plus 7 is equal to x squared. Then plus 4. And then 3 over 2 plus x over 2 squared. Okay, now we need to expand. You can do this by the side. Maybe if you think you don't understand how to multiply fractions. So we're saying 2x times 3 over 2. So 2 divided by 2 here is 1. We remain with 3x. Do you see that? We remain 3x here. Expanding this and that. Right, 3x. Then 2x times x over 2. The 2 divided by 2 is 1. We remain with x squared, positive x squared. Plus x squared. And then plus 7 is equal to x squared. And then plus 4. Let's expand this first. We're squaring a binomial here. What did I say? We square the first term here, which is going to be 3 over 2 squared. And then it's giving us 9 over 4. We take the sign, which is plus, and then we say 2 times 3 over 2 times x over 2. Say 2 times 3 over 2 times x over 2. What do you get here? 2 there is 1. We remain with 3x over 2. Okay, we remain with 3x over 2. and then we square the last one. So it's going to be plus x squared over 4. Okay, done. So now we need to remove the square bracket. This side is still the same. 3x plus x squared plus 7 is equal to x squared plus 4 times 9 over 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. We remain with 9. Then 4 times 3x over 2. 4 times 3x over 2. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 4, 2. 2 times 3x is 6x. You see that? Okay, and then 4 here and 4, they'll cancel each other out. 4 divided by 4 is 1. We remain with x squared. Do you see that? Right, I say that if the terms are the same on the opposite sides of the equal sign, they can just what? Cancel each other out. So this one, because if you transpose this one and bring it this side, it's going to be minus x squared, then becomes positive x squared minus x squared, which is 0. Right, now let's try to write our standard form. Remember, there is a mark for standard form. In the previous one, I didn't emphasize that. You must get your standard form before you do anything. So it's x squared, which is there. I dealt with this. Now this one, we're bringing 3x to the right hand side, so it's going to be 6x minus 3x, which is plus 3x. We're done with the x's, and then constants is going to be 9 minus 7, which is positive 2. Okay, this is 0. Right, now we have our standard form, and then we can easily look for the factors of 2 that will give us 3, that is plus 2, positive 2, positive 1. This one is easy to factorize, so 0 is equal to x plus 2, x plus 1. Okay, right, therefore x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to negative 1. Okay, did you get the same answers in the previous one? Yes. Now let's find our y values. Remember y, we are using this equation. So if x is equal to negative 2, so y is equal to 3 over 2 plus negative 2 over 2, meaning that this is 3 over 2 is 1.5. Remember that, okay? 1.5. So y is equal to, let me write like 1.5 so that it's easy for us. But you can use your calculator. 1.5 minus half, minus 1, because negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. So you remain with y is equal to half. You see that? Y is equal to 1 over 2. And then if x is equal to negative 1, so y is equal to 3 over 2 plus negative 1 over 2. But if you check, this is 1.5, then you subtract half. What do you remain with 1? But you can even use your calculator. So we have the answers here. If x is negative 2, y is half. And then if x is negative 1, y is 1. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do there for the simultaneous equations. We are going to meet when we do question 1.3.